Today, tsunami waves hit Hawaii and California after one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded struck off the coast of Russia. And while the worst is now over, advisories are still in place with warnings that rapid swings in the tidal levels could create exceptionally dangerous conditions. At the same time, a different type of danger in the southeast as record-breaking oppressive heat continues. For areas like the Northeast, today is expected to be the biggest drain on the power grid. Heat so intense, it prompted hours of delays on the New York City subway. Plus, 15 million people today are under flood watches. Scenes of catastrophic flooding haunt Texas just 3 weeks after punishing floods took more than 130 lives. This is what one woman there told my colleague, Morgan Chesky.
The people next door lost 4 souls. Right next door.
Your neighbors?
Yes, and they were visiting. And we didn't even know they were there. They're still looking for one of them. Searching, searching, searching.
The reality of these repeated and supercharged climate disasters come as the Trump administration is moving to overturn the legal opinion that serves as the basis for virtually all regulations to curb climate change. Joining me now, Michael Mann, the Presidential Distinguished Professor and Director of the Penn Center for Science, Sustainability, and the Media. His new book, Science Under Siege, is out in September. Welcome back, Michael. What exactly is the Trump administration trying to take away here?
Thanks, Chris. It's good to be with you. And well, what they're trying to take away from us essentially is the right to a livable planet. And it's ironic at a time when they're trying to eliminate the endangerment finding, which was this monumental finding by the Supreme Court that climate change represents a danger to human health, not just the health of human beings, but in fact, the health of our planet. And so this has been the law for the better part of 2 decades now. And at a time when, as you already alluded to here, we're seeing mortality tied to extreme weather events, floods, heat waves, wildfires that have been made worse by climate change. So there is a direct linkage between climate change and human life, and of course, human health as well. It's clear that we are endangered by the continued warming of the planet from the continued burning of fossil fuels. And that's what this administration now is essentially trying to deny with this new development.
So the question becomes why, and the EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin talked about why it's being rolled back. Listen.
We want to be good stewards of the environment. There are people who then, in the name of climate change, are willing to bankrupt the country. They created this endangerment finding, and then they're able to put all these regulations on vehicles, on airplanes, on stationary sources to basically regulate out of existence, in many cases, a lot of forms of segments of our economy. And it costs Americans a lot of money.
So the administration says this is a money problem. Is it?
It was ironic, and it's convenient for Lee Zeldin to say that, given that he comes out of the fossil fuel industry. So arguably, there's a bit of a conflict of interest when it comes to policies that impact the fossil fuel industry. But the real irony here is that the true threat to our economy, not just our health, but our economy, even if you don't care about the human health consequences of climate change, if all you care about is the economy, it is very clear from the research that has been done, from authoritative reports by the U.S. National Academy of Sciences and other expert reports and peer-reviewed literature that demonstrate that the cost of inaction, the cost to our economy done by these unprecedented weather extremes in the hundreds of billions of dollars now outstrips any possible estimate of the cost of taking action. And indeed, even framing it as a cost of taking action is ironic because when we invest in fossil fuel infrastructure, these people are happy. They call it an investment, but somehow investing in renewable energy, which is not harmful to the planet in the way fossil fuel energy is, they call that a cost. So there's an inconsistency even in how they're framing it. This is an investment. It's an investment in renewable energy, in a clean energy transition that's good for the economy, it's good for jobs, and it preserves the livability of our planet. And it's crazy at a time like this that they're trying to take us backwards.
So this morning, when I woke up to all of the news about the 8.8 earthquake in Russia and then the effects it was having on the West Coast, Hawaii, Alaska, California, there is some research now suggesting, a study recently, for example, by the Colorado State University, that climate change can affect the frequency of earthquakes. There is more and more research looking into climate change and how it can alter the Earth's seismic cycle. And we've already seen, and experts like you have come on this program and talked about how this frequency of these events related to climate change are increasing faster than a lot of people thought. They're getting worse more quickly than a lot of people thought. What would it mean if then you take away the protections? What would it mean for the frequency of these kinds of catastrophic, potentially catastrophic events?
Yeah, well, with these geophysical events, that's a pretty tentative linkage. And so there really isn't a scientific consensus that climate change is making earthquakes, for example, worse. But it is clearly making all of these other devastating disasters, heat waves, wildfires, floods, superstorms that are costing us, again, in the tens to hundreds of billions of dollars a year now. There is no question that climate change is exacerbating those hazards. And in fact, some of my own research demonstrates that the climate models that we use today to project the future are probably underestimating the extent to which climate change is exacerbating these very persistent weather extremes that we see now summer after summer.
Michael Mann, your expertise is always invaluable on days like this. Thank you so much. And I have a feeling you're going to have to update the book on an ongoing basis, but we look forward to seeing it when it comes out next month. Thank you.
Thank you.